I'm going to install a CB radio in my 92 4Runner. I'm just going to kind of walk through what I did, how I installed it, and yeah, enjoy. So to get to this trim piece to install the radio, you'll need to remove the glove box, this pocket underneath here, the trim piece under the steering wheel, the ignition bezel, and the heater control section with the clock. Once all that's removed, then you can pull this trim piece out. So the first step is to remove your ashtray. You can slide it out and pull this down, take it completely out, and then there are 2 screws here to remove that assembly. Once those screws are removed, then you'll need to remove the connector for the light here. It's just kind of pops out like this. You can remove it like that, and then you can take out this whole assembly. Alright, with the ashtray removed, now we can test fit the CB radio and see how much material we need to remove. As you can see, this radio fits perfectly in the space here for the ashtray. However, we do need to cut out the back here so that it can slide far enough in to fit. So what I've done is I've just marked where I'd like to cut for the radio to slide through, and I'm just going to cut that section of plastic out right here with a knife. So I was able to actually do the whole thing with just a box knife. As you can see, I cut out this section in the bottom, and I also cut out a notch right here. That is for one of these adjustment knobs to slide into. It actually fits recessed back in there for a tighter fit. So here's a view from the back with it installed, and underneath the bracket here I've actually put the plastic piece that I cut out from the back along with 3 layers of cardboard from the box that the CB radio came in. And then here you can see the adjustment knob on this side is down in that notch that I cut out. So that gets it pretty snug on there. And you can see on the front there, that's where I mounted it, pretty flush with the front of the bezel there. So I've got the radio in place. For simplicity, I just wired it up to the power for the cigarette lighter for now. Power to the cigarette lighter comes through right here. What I did is I used a terminal like this on the red wire from the CB radio, and I mounted it behind this terminal for the cigarette lighter. This screws onto the cigarette lighter on the end on this post here, so the terminal to the CB radio is underneath that and held in place with that tightened down. And then for the ground, this is a little bit janky, but this is the ground for the cigarette lighter, and the ground for the CB radio is actually sandwiched in between the body of the cigarette lighter here with this screw ring. So with the key in, I can turn on the CB. It works in accessory as well as the on position since it's wired up to the cigarette lighter. For the antenna, I'm running a 5-foot fire stick with the tunable tip. It's on a spring and then mounted onto the fender here. I'll show you under the hood. So I'm using the fire ring connector to get enough clearance before the fender, and then this cable just routes, I got it attached to the fender here, and then it just routes down here through an existing hole in the firewall and then under the dash to the radio. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this setup. I do get a little bit of noise over the CB from the engine. It's noticeable when driving around. So I think I am going to rewire power directly to the battery instead of coming off the cigarette lighter, and that will also allow me to use the radio even when I don't have the key in the ignition. So hopefully this video was helpful. If you've installed a CB radio in your 2nd gen 4Runner, I'd love to see some pictures of your setup. Thanks for watching.